Good afternoon, teammates, and I'm sorry for my disheveled appearance. I was going to do this video earlier before a workout, but I was having some brain things going on, brain spasms. So I decided to get my workout in first. So I just finished running about 2.5 miles and then got some meditation time in, so I'm still sweaty and sit in the car. I apologize for that. But I wanted to give a big shout out today. I got some videos from it that I haven't posted yet, but this last Saturday, at the leadership and black belt class, one of the things we talked about was enthusiasm and be an example. We talked about that old adage, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. They're not the ones that make excuses or say, oh, well, no one else is doing it. So, it's the guys that get in there and get the work done. And let me tell you, I threw a super, super hard workout and call out to our leadership class on Saturday to be the absolute best examples they could be, and they destroyed themselves in that workout across the next 2 hours. And I look forward to seeing them carry that in to this next week, where we're talking about perseverance, right? And perseverance, that's something that has an easy definition. We talk about never giving up. But the fact of the matter is there is always a time to give up. There's a time, because a person can only have so many different things that they're focused on at once. I'm a one thing at a time, two thing at a time kind of guy. So when it comes down to it, there are times where you have to give things up. There are times when you have to quit things. And I do understand that. One of the things that I see happen, though, is too often people make decisions, not just about quitting things, but financial decisions, career decisions, relationship decisions, based purely on emotional impulse. So let me tell you something about an emotional impulse. It may feel like it's everything in that moment, but as we all know, looking back on our emotional impulses later, they were really just short frames of time that we felt that way, and then maybe we felt entirely differently afterwards or after we calmed down. Hey Mike, hey Kylie, good to see you guys. There's a little thing I can click that says bring them on camera. I certainly don't want to do that with Mike. I'd be in big trouble. Anyway, so we're talking about there is a time. So one of the pieces of advice that I give is this: never quit on a bad day. Never quit when you know it's emotional. And that's the same rule I apply to my child. Now, he's never really been the type to want to quit something, but I was watching an old live video I did about perseverance, so I gave an example of this with Axel, where with him, it's first I usually ask why. I say, you have a good why. Okay, well, why do you want to quit? And a lot of times, you get varied answers with that, but I always urge them, say, okay, well, if that is a good reason, I'll say, okay, well, that's a good reason to want to quit. But I tell you what, how about you give it 2 or 3 more tries? I know you had a rough day with it today. I know at one point he thought about stopping parkour. He'd had a rough day, and he started thinking he wasn't ever gonna land this particular backflip he's doing, which he's almost got it on the ground now. And he'd had a bit of a bad day about it, and he felt like a little bit dejected after he left. And I told him, I said, tell you what, you can quit. I don't mind you quitting this. I do parkour. I teach parkour elsewhere, so, I don't mind at all. But I said, how about you give it 2 more classes, and then you can tell me. Of course, the next time he made some progress at the next class, and he felt much better about it, and so he didn't. So that's usually the point of advice that I give, is make sure that if you're going to quit, quit on a good day. Quit on a high note. Take it from NJ. I see all y'all people in there, close to my age. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan. He messed up. He made a mistake at the end of his career. We all know this. We recognize this. He should have went out and stayed out on top, and then he tried to come back in and that whole thing, right? But the point is if you're going to quit, go out on a high note. You don't go out when you lost. You don't go out when you lose the championship, right? You go out on a high note. So Mike says he's wearing pants. Well, I very much appreciate that, and I'm wearing pants as well, which I'm very much sure the people at this park appreciate since I've been running all around the park. Anyway, so that was really my big take on this with perseverance today, is if a person's going to quit, know their why, and make sure that if you're going to give something up, give it up on a good day. There's always times you have to give stuff up, but try to give it up on a good day, not a bad day. We all know what emotional impulses can do. And then you try to carry that, whether you're talking about an exercise routine or working out. Don't quit your exercise routine because you're having a rough, busy day and you just can't seem to find the time, and you get to the end of the day and you feel dejected because you don't do it. No, that's not the time to quit. That's the time to go, all right, well, tomorrow I'll make sure that it's the first thing that I do, and I go in and I'll get some of it done, or tomorrow I'll do half in the morning and half at night. And then after you've had a few good days of an exercise routine, then ask yourself again if you really want to quit that exercise routine. Now, same with classes, same when we're talking about things along the lines of financial decisions, right? Are you simply making that financial decision out of an emotional impulse of pleasure, an emotional impulse of pain, or is it actually the best decision to make in that time? And this is something that a lot of people tend to have their mind made up before they take the rational approach and look at it in that way. So that's the practice we're going to be focused on with our word of the week this week in classes. It is Perseverance Week. So I'll be glad to see you guys all in classes and working hard. I'll post some videos, probably not this week, but next week, of our leadership team's hard workout. You should have seen it, man. They were throwing some knockouts towards each other. It was quite a class. It was really, really intense. And they were all about, when I called them out about, I called the class out about how important it is to be the example as a leader of how hard to work, of exactly what to strive for, not to walk through it and be lazy because you know you can do it better than the people you're showing, but to do it at full capacity so that they know exactly what to look for. Being that example all the time, it's a big part of leadership, whether you're talking about being teammate leadership for parenting. This is about what we talk about when it comes to teammate leadership, teammate life skills, teammate parenting, teammate teammate training, right? All of that stuff, the teammate life skills. It's all about being the example, being the good you want to see in the world, and then also being respectful and compassionate enough with others that they will act, that you can actually earn that respect from them, whether they agree with you or not. And this is something we talk about quite often. And actually, I was just writing some new leadership trainings on the words of the week for compassion and for respect and for coordination. And I brought a lot of that up in those. So if you guys are in the leadership training modules for my leadership guys, there's some of that stuff that's going to be going up really soon, along with a few links to live videos just like this one about those words. So, sorry, I was reading Beth's reply. I can't swear that I am wearing pants. I'm assuming that's what that's about. Yeah, Beth, we don't expect anything different of you, though. But when it comes to compassion, one of the hardest things about compassion is people have a hard time letting go of their ego. They have a hard time with the amount of humility it takes to show actual compassion by not asking yourself what I can do for them, but asking yourself instead what that person actually needs in that moment, regardless of the I, me, my mentality. And the level of humility it takes to step out and show someone true care without concern about your recognition or what you're recognized like by those around you, or without any thought whatsoever as for those things. That is how you earn respect from people, when they can see that you have shown care for them without any ego, without any expect to be recognized, without demanding to be respected. And those are the types of things that will eventually get people to respect. So Brandy said something. Oh yeah, Jolene in soccer, yeah. And after the season, she didn't have to do it again. Yeah, you know, and that's one of those things where maybe she was on top, but maybe the why wasn't the best. And that all comes down to, you know, what was the why? What was it? Was it boring? Did they want more challenge? Did she need more challenge? And if it was something like that, and she does play soccer again and wants more challenge, I know Axel needs some teammates to practice with, since they shut down the season and everything, and I know he was always looking for people to practice with anyway. I'm sure he'd love practicing with her and stuff too, if it was just such a challenge thing. Or maybe it was just a special interest thing, as in, like, sometimes we just want to quit things so we have more time to do something else. I know Axel has caught himself a few times wanting to quit an activity because he would rather stay home and watch a particular show than go do the activity. And I have to remind him, like, look, dude, that show's going to be there tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, the day after that, the day after that. This class is tonight. This is your one chance to do it. And putting it in that perspective usually helped him. I know a lot of people have given me a hard time for it, but I've always been one that I've been raised a lot of different ways. I had a lot of different role models, but the ones I respected the most were the ones who talked to me like I was an adult, even though I was a child. And I'm kind of the same way with Axel. I try to explain things to him and talk to him as if he were just an uneducated adult, and who didn't have as much life experience, rather than talk to him as if he just doesn't know what's going on and kind of talk over the top of him. And I feel like that's really important too when it comes to teammate communication and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump off this video because I see I've bored most of our viewers that jumped on here. So I am going to go ahead and jump off, but don't forget, you know, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and we got a heck of a special going on right now, our own economic stimulus package, which I made some jokes and some posts about with Nana and stuff like that, but really what it is us trying to provide our services regardless of our regular price, at a price that people who are struggling right now can deal with across the next few months, as things kind of, well, as we see how things play out. I'd like to be optimistic and say things like go on the up and up, but who knows? I mean, who really knows? So you know, it's our way of trying to give back for the next few months. A person can have 3 free classes with an appointment. On top of that, they get a bunch of free swag and stuff to go with it, and then $45 the first month, and we reevaluate each month after that. But $100 for each the next 2 months, or we reevaluate based on that person's situation. And don't forget to share it around. We have a new active protection event up on Facebook called the Teammate Kids Active Protection. It's going to be July 11th, I do believe. It's geared towards people that aren't so much members, but members are more than welcome for a little brush up on active protection basics. Just please make sure that you bring a friend. We are going to offer free uniforms to those that aren't members, thanks to a generous donation by Mr. Atkins, and we highly appreciate that. On top of that, for anyone that attends that event, we are giving away an at-home training bag, a kicking bag, just like the ones you see in the back floor with the smaller tops. They stand about 3 foot tall at their shortest, and they're adjustable to about 6 foot tall. And we're giving away one of those to those who attend. But a person has to be registered and attend the event to have their name in the drawing. I think it was really cool. Too much organized activity, not enough time to be a kid. Yeah, Brandy, you know, sometimes that's the deal. And, you know, I always try to leave enough of that in there for Axel. And I know that I'm blessed in that way, being that I'm self-employed entrepreneur. We've set him up where he does online charter school and stuff like that. So we have plenty of time for school at our schedule, while at the same time we can have that unstructured learning time, unstructured play time, whenever it's available for us to have through the day. So that's a situation that I feel blessed to be able to have more of than I know a lot of people who are stuck on routine schedules and things like that. No, and maybe she just wasn't interested. Yeah, you know, and that can be the case too. But sometimes, and that's the thing, as parents, don't feel bad about that though, Brandy, because we have to introduce new things to our children sometimes. And sometimes it takes a little shove to get them to even try or look at it, to see what kind of things interest them and what's going to bring them around. And I mean, sometimes you have to do things like that. I know I've given Axel a little nudge a couple times into things like we did this homeschooling stargazing event thing. I'm using the wrong words once, but it was something he really wasn't interested in, didn't really want to do, and I was like, well, you know, I understand, but I kind of want to do it. So I told him I wanted to do it with him. And so then when we got to do it, he ended up enjoying the entire curriculum. We also did a homeschool event at the Exoskeleton Museum, or Museum of Osteology over there in Moore, and he wasn't for that at first, but he's been begging to go back ever since, and he had a blast with it. So, you know, and we used to have students that worked at the Museum of Osteology. I know you guys have been around long enough to remember Mr. Huber. Most of you knew him as Mr. DJ and Tamara. You know, they used to work there at one time. So anyway, I'm rabbit holing off now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Till then, don't forget about our special. Please comment on the posts that we have. Share them around, especially the Teammate Kids Active Protection and the stuff about our new special economic stimulus package, and, you know, or this live video even. These comments and stuff, it all helps us raise awareness in the community that there are teammates out there for people who are in trouble, that we are thinking about them, and that we're willing to work with them and stuff like that. And the more positive things like this we put out in the community through shares, comments, likes, and things like that, you know, the better all of our timelines look. So till I see you guys again, be the best teammates you can be. Oh, my watch is telling me something. Oh, it says it's time to move. I didn't show this off. So this was like the coolest Father's Day gift I ever got. I never really was interested in any of the fit watches, but I used to wear a watch back in the day. Oh, hang on. Continue. I used to wear a watch back in the day. A lot of you guys probably wouldn't have known me back then, but there was a time around the time, right around the time I was homeless, well, when I was homeless, I saw how I was treated a lot of times by what I wore, how I dressed, and things like that. And so I did some stupid financial things back then and spent basically all my paycheck once or twice on some really nice clothes that I would wear every day. And I was partial to Fossil watches, and I bought a really nice Fossil watch, and I would wear that stuff so people didn't look down on me for my station in life being homeless. I got sick of it. And then eventually I just kind of took it, and I started dressing like that anyway, even after I was successful, because it was more like a call out, like, go ahead and treat me like that. Treat me like y'all used to treat me when I was homeless, because I dress that way, you know, now, because I got stuff to back me up. But anyway, I haven't worn a watch in years due to my activity, and I just stopped caring about that sort of thing. But I had been interested in, when I walked into the Fossil store, it was before the pandemic, I'd happen to walk in the Fossil store, look around, and I was interested in their little hybrid watches because they have a heart monitor, and I have some difficulties and issues when it comes to blood pressure, and my heart rate can start to run away with me and things like that. And I thought, how cool would it be to be able to have a watch on when I work out that tells me my heart rate, so I can adjust what I'm doing and get more optimized workouts without hitting the dizzy spells, the tingle pins and needles feelings, and the like I'm going to pass out and stuff like that. So, but then I never buy anything for myself. So I looked at them, and that was it. But Axel got and Miss Rose got together on Father's Day and bought me this really cool looking watch. And for a smartwatch, see how clean that looks? I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me just turn the camera around. See how clean that looks though? And that's what I always liked about Fossils, is that clean appearance they have. So it looks very old school. I always like modern, classic looks to watches. At the same time, it's a hybrid smartwatch. Obviously, it's got the fitness tracker stuff on there. My heart rate is still coming down a bit from my run at 95 currently. So anyway, that's just showing off some personal. And I started talking. So I'm gonna go clean myself up. I'm thinking about trimming the beard. Who thinks I should trim the beard down? I watched a live video of me the other day when I had it trimmed down to like a 1 or a 2, and I was like, man, I look pretty smart. I look pretty good like that. But I was also bald at the time, so I don't know. Yeah, it is a nice watch, right? I thought it was cool. Yeah, so, and it has a timer. So for y'all that used to have me in classes, I've got this quick button on it that opens a timer up that sets it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, and I can do custom too, but I can quick set it at one of those. And once I hit go, it goes and on the watch, and then it'll vibrate on my wrist when it's going off. So hopefully we don't have the same issues I normally have in class with timers, where I set the timer and then I set it down while I'm helping somebody, and I don't hear it go off and I don't notice it go off. This thing will actually vibrate on my wrist. So I think that's pretty cool. I thought my students might kind of enjoy knowing that I might actually be able to start legitimately using a timer the proper way for once. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Until I see you guys again, probably later in class tonight, especially if anyone joins me for Capoeira. Be the best teammate you can be, and be the best at being you.